I read last night in the Soy Boy Gazette that it is okay not to stand up for yourself and that you should always act as if you are a martyr for it. I, for one, have always felt this way, for I desperately want to make sure I am on my grand stage of virtue so that everyone is made aware of how involved I am, so much so I cry every 5 minutes over it.
You should be standing up for yourself always. Never speak your piece on anything that truly has no relevance towards anything that makes you expose authenticity. What you are saying is completely discrediting your immediate self.
So how expressive are you? Do you let the daily show light that shines on all of us every day of our lives reflect any type of character traits you put out there that you deem at that present moment as an authentic reaction? When you think of someone's own individual character, you do have to remember that it is quite correlated with one's own authenticity. And I can say certainly I've witnessed it myself when experiencing an explanation of someone's own character and just not getting the right type of vibe from it. As you can almost pick apart the lack of authenticity from the expression. For the longest time when I was younger, I thought it was just because I had a general feeling that I just did not like interacting with people in general. I always kind of questioned, like, why can I kind of pick people apart like this? Why does everyone seem like they're kind of just fake and I can literally just have nothing to do with it whatsoever and walk away? Because around those same times, I was also doing the same exact things that I was recognizing. I was not characterizing my authentic self out into my own reality towards anyone. It was a completely different type of character than who I was. I was not acting and boasting my authentic self loudly and proudly. I was trying to shelter it away. If you get away from your authentic self, expressing your authenticity, letting it reflect through your character in your present days, it's the same type of scenario as you're grabbing gasoline instead of water to put out certain fires or situations you are dealing with within life. Inflaming your life down to the point of no credibility whatsoever, instead of refreshingly flooding your life and cleansing a path so you can walk through life with ease. It's very amazing. We are our own individual characters within this world. We put on a show every single day that we are living through us, and it's about us. I'd say it's very exciting and a lot of fun down to it at most times, once you can really get into it and understand this. Because if you can't allow your authentic self to be reflected through your character, you're simply going to restrict yourself through experiences not being fulfilled by your own self, that you know within your heart needed to be lived. Thought you were too much on top of your high horse, partying your ass off, going through flues amounts of women, and all of a sudden you meet someone who's just a complete gem and very compatible with, and you want to take the next steps to completely drop this old lifestyle, it's old news, but your character is holding you back. What you've experienced at those times is blocking your authenticity, showing through, reflecting through your character to engage in something different. And then all of a sudden you blow that gem of a woman off and you have complete remorse years later because you are struggling to find true happiness within the confines of, say, a relationship with someone. Then you notice that person's been scooped up by some other lucky guy. That's just how it goes. All because at that time you thought this character you were putting out there, this big bolstering thing, was completely unstoppable and not restricting you from anything. Convincing yourself that you're going to experience something bigger and better than what you were exactly feeling within you, a knowing that this is a true source of happiness that needs to be looked at. Completely taking something and knowing within yourself that it is something that needs to be experienced, that it needs to be looked at more, and just not acknowledging it. Letting something basically take over your own self and act as yourself. Restricting your own self from expressing yourself. I also don't know about you guys, but I stopped going to the bars probably when I was like 23. I hated the bar scene. That just made my eyes bleed every time I had to leave it, and it was the same type of thing every single time. Everyone acted the same exact way every single time. I just never felt like I was talking to the real person that was talking right in front of me. It was such a completely fake atmosphere. Sometimes were fun, but most of those times it was just the same old shtick I could call out immediately the second I would arrive to any type of event like that. And it's not the fact that I couldn't play the part in going out and engaging with that activity. It's the fact that I've done it so many times it just got tiresome. That it just did not really feel like I could not fully express my authenticity and have it reflect through my character out in public with those situations anymore. I was done with it. Of course, it's different when I go out with just a group of friends and we're grabbing a drink and just hanging out, and all of a sudden there's like a live band or something. That's completely different than just going out to a blacklit room with really shitty bass music going on, and you're inside of a small room of sardines basically, and everyone's just drunk as fuck. You can't understand any kind of conversation. And these restrictions experience can be ended at an instant moment when you decide to end it. When you can really catch yourself during something, fully witnessing that you are not authentically engaged with this whatsoever. As in, the actions you are spewing out at that time are not you. You can feel that you are just playing a part that is completely not yourself just to get through it. Once you can realize that, it's completely up to you at that moment. Do you cut ties with this and move into something that will help you move into more of a authentic, expressive atmosphere? Or do you keep going along with this and keep restricting yourself from more experiences that you know you need to have happen? Because it really is a damn trick of it all. If you acknowledge that and sought after more authentic engagements, allowing yourself to reflect out in situations with no remorse whatsoever, take it or leave it, this is just who I am, it just starts. It starts for you right there. You're giving it all. You're right there. You're right out in the open. And you may not think of it at that time, especially when you start getting more comfortable into it, but everything is noticing it. Everything is acknowledging it. And what turns to that is complete acceptance. A relief factor from your environment almost. Like, oh, this is just him. Okay, cool. It doesn't mean you're going to completely end up avoiding people that are going to call you out on being a weirdo. If they think whatever you're putting out there is weird, or just not right, or just uncool, or just something that they can't see themselves as. That's just perfectly fine. That's a response that you should just get used to. And when I say get used to not acknowledging it. Just listening to it. Just not acknowledging it. Because if you really think of it, it's honestly a reminder to you that you're doing the right thing. Just remember, once you start to have this internal knowing that this is the way, reflecting your authenticity, having it reflected out there like that, you have to maintain it as best as you can. And it's really not that hard to maintain. It really isn't. It's more easy to act as your own self than to put on an actual character that is not yourself. It becomes tricky because, I would agree that a lot of us are run through the ringer of how we are supposed to act in certain ways. Right from the time we were popped out of our mother. Just completely conditioned to act a certain way, almost to a point where it can convince a lot of people to not act themselves. And you really just need to snap out of it. Really. There's nothing to hide with you. You're always, at any present time, out in the open as you are. So just act it. Just live it. Accept it. Reflect it.